สวัสดีครับเอาบะหมี่หมูหนึ่งแล้วก็เส้นเล็กหมูหนึ่งครับสวัสดีครับขอบคุณครับ So it's lunchtime and I'm going to have some Guai Diao, which is basically the Thai word for noodle soup of all kinds. There's loads of different kinds, and this happens to be Guai Diao Ruea, which is boat noodles. So called because they used to be served out of the boats on canals. You'd have people going along the canal in their little rowboats with a little boiling pot of soup and making noodles for people on the side of the canal. And they come in rather small bowls usually, but they're also quite cheap. And here I've got one bowl of banh mi, which is egg noodles, and one bowl of sen lek, which is rice noodles, or something similar to what we would call rice noodles. So the soup is what makes a difference between different types of Guai Diao very often, and in this case it's a very dark soup, and it's got a kind of smoky flavor quite often, so it's something I go for. This one isn't too spicy, I don't think. No. You can get chili on the table though. Top tip for chili when you're in a restaurant like this: if it's dry, then it's probably not that spicy. But if it looks kind of oily and greasy, it's probably very spicy, especially if it's a very dark red. So a little goes a long way in those cases. And in quite a lot of Guai Diao places you get an extra little bit of vegetables, some bean sprouts, and I don't remember the name of these leaves, but they've got a kind of licoricey flavor, a very licoricey flavor. So just break a few of those in there. Good stuff. So I prefer these banh mi noodles, which are egg noodles. They've got a bit more bite to them. They're a bit firmer in the mouth. The sen lek noodles are a little bit softer, and I don't know. It's just what you prefer, I guess. So here, now I've finished, you can see that darker soup of Guai Diao Ruea, which is characteristic of the type of noodles we've got here. All Guai Diao are basically made the same way. They get a bunch of noodles and put them into a basket and dip them into a big boiling pot of soup that they've got, and then they add the bits of meat or the meatballs and a few bits of vegetables, various different kinds, and then they stick it in there to boil for a couple of minutes, put it in the bowl, and then ladle a bit of soup on the top. Job done. So there are many types of Guai Diao which come with innards in. Guai Diao Ruea usually has some liver in, but other kinds might even have some intestines and things like that. So if you're not into that kind of thing, when you order, a good idea would be to say "mai sai krung nai," which basically means no inside bits. So, as I said, there are actually many different types of Guai Diao in Thailand, and maybe I'll have a look at some of those in a future video. But in the meantime, if you enjoyed this video about Guai Diao Ruea, then please leave a like. I'm full up now, so I'm going to head home and relax, and I'll see you next time.
A few moments later.
I know I said I was full, but I just spotted they've got some kanom tuai, which is a little dessert that you sometimes get in Guai Diao restaurants. It's basically made from coconut and coconut milk, and just use your spoon. And it's a kind of almost jelly-like dessert. And the bottom is kind of sweet, but the white layer on top is almost salty in a weird way, but you'd be surprised how well it goes together. Yeah, and it's a perfect little bit of grease just to coat your tongue after a spicy bowl of noodles, so I always pick up a pair of these if I can. You get them in pairs like that, one on top of the other, and you buy the pair together, so when you get Canon Tuai you get two. I'm never too full for Canon Tuai.